like you wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men, 'cause the rich men. I wish politicians would look out for miners, and not just miners on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men, north of rich men. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
It's been 7 hours and 15 days since you took your love away. I go out every night and sleep all day since you took your love away. Since you've been gone, I can do whatever I want. I can see whomever I choose. I can eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant, but nothing, I said nothing can take away these blues. 'Cause
caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Why can't you see what you're doing to me when you don't believe a word I say? We can't go on together with suspicious minds, and we can build our dreams on suspicious minds. So if an old friend I know stops by to say hello, would I still see suspicion in your eyes? Here we go again, asking where I've been. You can't see the tears are real, I'm crying. Yes, I'm crying. We can't go on together with suspicious minds, and we can build our dreams on suspicious minds. Won't let our love survive, or dry the tears from your eyes. Let's don't let a good thing die. When, honey, you know I've never lied to you. Yeah, yeah. We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Why can't you see what you're doing to me when you don't believe a word I say? Don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Don't you know I'm caught in a trap? I can't walk out because
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness, your records just quitting balls of fire. I let you love all I thought it was funny. You came along and you moved me, honey. I changed my mind, looking fine. Goodness gracious, quitting balls of fire. You kissing me, baby. Ooh, it feels good. Hold me, baby. Girl, just let me love you like a lover should. You're fine, so kind. I'm gonna tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. I took my nails and I twiddle my thumbs. I'm real nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. La fede mia mi abbandonò, si perse ma si ritrovò, perché smarrito sempre la cercai. Bellezza, incanto e nostalgia ferirono la mente mia, che in lacrime gridava un alleluia, 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 alleluia. Il santo nome tuo dirò, un nome che ormai non ho paura che risuoni dentro me. Di luce esplode la poesia come una sacra sinfonia che intona per il mondo un alleluia, 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 I did my best, it wasn't much. I couldn't feel, so I tried to touch. I've told the truth, I didn't come to fool you. And even though it all went wrong, I'll stand before the Lord of Song with nothing on my tongue but hallelujah.
When I first came into office, I cut taxes more than any other president. We have created 7 million new jobs, and it led to a growth like we've never seen before. We developed the greatest economy in history by far. When I left office, it changed. Inflation destroyed the lives of so many people. Interest rates went from 2% to 10%. Millions of illegal immigrants, traffickers, and drugs coming into our country. Our country has gone to hell. So I made a decision to run. We're going to make America great again, greater than ever before. I will fight for you with every breath, and I will never let you down.
I'm gonna fight like a G, they all gon' see. And if I die, I'm gonna die free.
President Trump is literally putting his life on the line, and he's willing to risk it all because he loves this country.
He is strong, he is fearless, and he is what this country needs right now.
Our cities will be safe, our streets will be clean, and our border will be secure.
I'll never quit.
We can't allow our country to be destroyed by politicians who will put their own power ahead of the interests of the American people, our freedom, and our future.
The left told me to hate Trump. When you cut through the lies, you realize the truth. American families were better when Donald Trump was president. We were safer, wealthier, and stronger.
So if you love this country, if you want to stand up and fight for the future of our nation, you must re-elect Donald J. Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Pennsylvania. We love Pennsylvania. And a very special hello to Latrobe. Oh, I love Latrobe. You know why? The home of Arnold Palmer. This was the home of my friend Arnold Palmer. And he loved Latrobe. You know, he turned out to be one of the greatest golfers in the world. He started off very, very poor. He had no money, just had a lot of talent and a lot of muscle. He was a strong guy. And his father, you know, worked at Latrobe Golf Course. And he was a laborer there. They called him in those days sod carrier. He's a very strong man. He'd carry sod. They didn't have trucks that they trucked it. They had strong people carrying it. He was the strongest of them all. And he had a son, but they had no money. And he worked at Latrobe. And they treated him good because he could do more work than anybody else. And his son started to grow up, and he realized his son was very strong like him. But he never had a chance to play golf. He had no money at all. And his son was named Arnold. And when Arnold was 4 and 5 years old, they had no money to buy a club. He couldn't buy one club, not one. And they used to go to the back of, this was all told to me by Arnold, so I have it firsthand. They used to go to the bag room where the members were, and they took out members' clubs, and they'd use the members' clubs, 2 or 3 of them at night, late at night, and he'd hit balls with his son. And he'd watch his son every move. And he realized his son had great talent. And then his son got older and stronger, and then he got stronger and stronger, and his father started saying, wow, this is really crazy, what's going on with this kid? And finally he was able to save up enough money to get him some clubs, but they weren't strong enough. Arnold was breaking them. He'd swing a regular club, and it'd break the hell out of it because he was so powerful. And they went back to the members' bags because they couldn't afford another set, and it used very stiff-shafted clubs, very strong for those of you that aren't golfers. That's for like good golfers with power, very stiff-shafted. And he'd get better and better, and then he went to high school, and he won all sorts of championships, one after another. He'd beat the rich kids. He'd kill them. He'd beat them so badly. He loved beating them, even though he was a nice guy, but he was tough. He was a tough cookie, Arnold. I got to know him really well. And he'd beat him over and over again, and then he got a set of clubs, and he got even better, and he won every championship, and he got into Wake Forest. You know that, right? Wake Forest. And he was immediately, as a freshman, the captain of the team. And there was a man named Mark McCormick, and Mark McCormick founded IMG. That's a very big, one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world today. And he wanted to be a professional golfer. He didn't go to Wake Forest. He went to another college, another school. And I won't say which because, honestly, I didn't want to look it up. It wasn't worth it. But a good golf college. And he wanted to be a pro. He's a very good golfer, very, very good. And he had the privilege of playing Arnold Palmer in a match between Wake Forest and his college. And the way he tells it, he was playing fantastically well. Mark McCormick, a very famous man, actually, founder of the biggest entertainment company. And he was playing very well, playing Arnold, and Arnold was just Arnold. He was just better than anybody else in college. And somebody shouted over to Mark McCormick, how are you playing? He said, I'm playing great. Can't play better. How are you doing? I'm 6 down. And he realized at the end of that match that he would never be a pro because he could never beat a guy like this. It wasn't close. He said he was longer, straighter, chipped better, putted better, and thought better. Other than that, they were very close. But he gave it up. He said, I'm not going to be a golfer. But he went to Arnold. He said, Arnold, you're going to be turning pro, and you're going to make a lot of money. And my second choice was to start representing people that are talented. And I'd like you to be my first client. And they made a deal where Arnold owned a big piece of the company. And Arnold started winning immediately. Made a lot of money for him. And Mark McCormick became the agent. And then because of Arnold's success, IMG, which you know, most of you know, it's very, very big now. Hollywood stars, everything. IMG became well known, and he started signing a lot of other players and a lot of other people. And then he started with Hollywood, and they signed Hollywood stars. And it became the biggest of those companies, like William Morris and all of them. And it was all because of Arnold. Arnold owned a big piece of it. Arnold was a very rich man. And I said to Arnold, I got to know him when he was 69 years old. And I played pretty much with him, a lot of them. And as he got older, you know, when you get older, you start to lose a thing called distance. And I'm a good golfer. Not like that, but I'm a good golfer. And I felt so good because I was hitting it a little bit longer than Arnold. But he was, by this time, about 75, 76. And I'd hit it 4 or 5 yards past him. I said, Arnold, let me ask you, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, was I longer than you? He said, Donald, I wasn't president or close at that time. That was long before I decided to have this fund. So, no, this is, no, but you're talking about a great man. I said, Arnold, and he was still plenty long, but I said, Arnold, do you think I was longer than you like I am now, 30, 40 years ago? He goes, Donald, let me tell you a little secret. You weren't even close. He said, you see that tree out there? He pointed to a tree that was about 70 yards in front of us. He said, that's where I would drive it. And you're about 70 yards short of that tree, and you would have been even worse than you were. And it's true, you know, he won, I think it was Pine Valley, one of the great courses. He won the U.S. Open. He drove a par 4. As the only person ever to drive that hole until that time. He drove it in a playoff to win the playoff. He went over the trees, very risky shot. He ended up driving the green, and he won with a birdie on the hole. And nobody till that point had done anything like it. But I said to Arnold, he became very rich because of the investments and the IMG and all of the different things. And I said to Arnold, just out of curiosity, you could live anywhere in the world. You could live on the Pacific Ocean. You could live on the Atlantic Ocean. You could live anywhere in the world. Why did you choose to stay? And part of the beauty is that because he made money right away, a lot of times it takes a pro years before they start making the money. It's a very, very difficult sport, actually. But he started right away making money. And you know the first thing he bought was Latrobe Golf Club. And you know the first thing he did? He took his father from a laborer to make him the course superintendent. How cool is that? And then ultimately his father became the manager of the club. And Arnold was so proud, and his father was good. He said, one thing with my father, nobody's going to steal on me. He said that, and I said that too. I said, there's something nice. And then I took Arnold, when he was quite old, in all fairness, we took a helicopter from where he was in Florida to Doral. I own Doral, which is a great place. And it's got 4 courses, many championships. Many of the best championships were at Doral. And I was building these beautiful, they call them villas, about 88 units in each one, hotel villas. And I named them after the 10 greatest golfers, including like Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Slammin', Sammy Snead, all great players. And I said, Arnold, I really want to name one after you. Would you like it? He said, I'd love it. I'd be honored to have that. And we flew down for the opening ceremony to cut a ribbon for the Arnold Palmer Villa. And it's, to this day, people just love it. And I'll never forget the day. He was having a little hard time. He was a little older. He hit the 80s. But he was still, when he got up there, he had that magic like nobody had. And you know, there were a few golfers that you could say maybe slightly better. A few, not many, but there was nobody that had his magic. He was a thriller. He was unbelievable. He knew how to win, and he knew how to just do whatever it was that electrified a crowd. If I had him here right now with me, this crowd would be going absolutely crazy. They'd say, Trump, get off the stage. We want Arnold Palmer to speak. He would electrify a crowd. And he would go for shots that nobody else could do, and they were risky as hell, and sometimes it wouldn't work out, but usually it did with him. He was an incredible man. He was an incredible champion, and he came from Latrobe. And so when I said, couple of days ago. I said, where are we going to be today? They said, sir, we're going to be in Latrobe. I said, do you know what that means? No, sir. What does it mean? I said, that means Arnold Palmer. Because Arnold told me he could be, and I knew he could be. They wanted him everywhere. Just like I wanted to name a villa after him. Everybody wanted him. He could have been in any place he wanted. He said, no, this is where I want to be. This is the place I love. I mean, how good is that, right? And he died a very proud owner of this course, and he was always tinkering with it. I said, Arnold, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm moving the hole 4 yards back. I said, nobody knows the difference, Arnold. He said, I don't care. I love it. I love this place. He could not get enough of Latrobe. So, you know, I've been here before, and I've told the story before, not in this kind of detail, because, you know, you have these teleprompters. If I would read it off a teleprompter, it wouldn't be so good, right? And it would be a lot shorter. It wouldn't be as good. And I didn't want to do that. I said, when I come here, I'm going to tell them the real story of Arnold. But Arnold Palmer was all man. And I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this is a guy that was all man. This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God. That's unbelievable. I had to say it. We have women that are highly sophisticated here, but they used to look at Arnold and say, bad, but he was really something special. Arnold was something special. So I just want to tell you, you're very lucky, the people that live in Latrobe, and it's an honor for me to be here because of him. And he was actually, he was a great man, and I don't think there would be golf to the extent that you have it today. It probably wouldn't be that way without the great Arnold Palmer. So enjoy it, everybody. Enjoy it. And I had to tell you the shower part of it because it's true. What can I tell? We want to be honest. We want to be upfront. It's true. But I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible Commonwealth with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. I'd like to begin by asking a question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Now, after living through this nightmare of inflation, invasion, and humiliation, you know what the invasion is, right? Invasion by the southern border. What they've done to our country is unbelievable, allowing more than 21 million people into our country. Many of them are murderers. Many of them are drug dealers, and they're from mental institutions. He says, send them back. You're right. Do you come from Latrobe by any chance? Yeah, he does. But Americans are ready to be free from Kamala Harris. Do you know that whenever I use the word Harris, everybody says, who's Harris? They have no idea who Harris is. That's true. They have no idea who's Harris. But Kamala, and to reclaim the future that is rightfully yours, you're going to reclaim it. This election is a choice between whether we will have a incredible 4 more years of failure. It's such a horrible 4 years. We had a horrible, think of everything they touch turns to everything. Inflation, Afghanistan. How about Afghanistan? Most embarrassing moment in the history of it. Everything they've touched. Even now he's telling Israel, everything he said to Israel was exactly the opposite. He's the greatest, I will say this about Biden, he's the single greatest expert on foreign policy in history. You know what that means? If you did the exact opposite of what he suggested every single time, you'd go down as the greatest foreign policy president in history. If you did the exact opposite. Everything's a failure. And he's telling Bibi Netanyahu, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. All our great congressmen are there. And don't do any of these things. And Bibi didn't listen to him. And I tell you what, they're in a much stronger position now than they were 3 months ago. That's for sure. Nobody's ever seen anything like has happened. And Bibi called me today, and he said, it's incredible what's happened. They said, it's pretty incredible. But he wouldn't listen to Biden, because if he did, they wouldn't be in this position. And she's worse than him. She's not as smart as him. And I'm not saying he's the smartest. I'm not saying he's the smartest. But she's not as smart as him. And I think maybe, you know, based on early results, maybe he'd be doing better than her. You know, we have results coming out where we actually now don't have to rely on the polls. We're doing good in the polls, but we don't have to rely on the polls. Remember, they stole the election from an American president. They stole it. I could say coup. I don't even want to call it. They just stole the election. They said, we're taking the election away. He got 14 million votes, and he won. 22 people running, 22 Democrats there running. Oh, I'm looking at my hair up there. Let's see. Oh. I don't like it. I don't like it. Excuse me, I'm going to recomb my hair. Do you mind? I'll leave the stage for 5 minutes. I'm going to recomb my hair, Mr. Future Senator. We have David down here. Mr. Future Senator, you got to get him in. You're doing good, too. Well, let's keep it the way it is. Let's just keep going, right? We'll trudge through it. But this election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of failure and disaster, and that's what it's been. It's been failure. We're disrespected all over the world. They're laughed at all over the world. They're laughing at him and they're laughing at her. The other night they had Catholic Charities. They had the biggest event, the Al Smith dinner. It's the biggest event of the year for Catholics. And she's the only one in years, decades, that didn't show up. She didn't show up. She wouldn't be there. She wouldn't be there. She said no. And she ended up doing a tape that was pathetic. And it was an insult to Catholics, frankly, because she was actually sort of knocking them or knocking religion. Then she had the other event the other day where she said, you're in the wrong location, when they started talking about a certain subject, right? They were in the, which basically was a knock on Christianity and a knock on religion, because she doesn't know what the hell she's saying. But there had been a failure, it's been a disaster, or you're going to have 4 years, and they will be the 4 greatest years in the history of our country if we make the proper decision. You got to make that decision. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. But you know, by the way, if you're Catholic, you can't vote after that. And you can't vote for another reason. That administration has been persecuting Catholics. It's been persecuting Catholics. I don't know why. Persecuting a lot of people. Persecuting politicians. I raised my hand, but we're kicking their ass. They are bad. They are bad. They are bad. Guys going to jail. They've never done this. This has never happened. It happens in third world countries and banana republics. They go after, it's called weaponization. They weaponize their justice departments. I call it the Department of Injustice. Ours is the Department of Injustice. But we're doing well. We won the big case in Florida. You saw that? That was the big one. That was the big one. That was the big one. They're going to get him on that one. Oh, they're going to get him. We had a judge who was brilliant and fair and very smart. She ruled against them, very strongly against them. These are people these are dishonest people that we're dealing with. But we won that, and we have other ones. We have them on the ropes. Remember, they were going to have me in all sorts of trouble. I'm going to be in trouble. And in the meantime, it's just weaponization of government. It made me more popular. It actually made me more popular, I think. It's crazy. Because people can see, and they're smart, and we could sometime explain it, but one after another. You had Fani, F-A-N-I, which is usually pronounced Fanny. She added a little action to it, Fani. That was a scam. They're all scams. They're all scams. It's a corrupt system, and it's a corrupt Justice Department, and it's a corrupt DA, corrupt attorney generals. They use it to get elected because you can't get elected with open borders, with transgender operations all over the place, with men playing in women's sports, with high taxes and bad schools and no school choice. You can't get elected with all. I could go on for 10 minutes. Your vote will decide whether we give up on America or whether we save America. It's the most important election you're ever going to have. It really is. By the way, how nice is this place? Isn't it beautiful? Look, people as far as you can see, they give you a little extra security nowadays. Do you notice? Hey, I got more machine guns than I've ever seen in my life. Look at these guys. Hey, hey, hey. I got more machine guns. I never saw guns like that. I said to my son, Don, he knows a lot about guns. And Eric knows they're great shots. They really understand. I said, what kind of a gun is that? They said, Dad, you don't even want to know. They are serious guns. We got more guys, and every one of them is like central casting, too. Holy shit. I'm looking. They look like Arnold Palmer. They look like Arnold. Can't look better than Arnold. But with your support, we'll bring back our nation's strength, dominance, prosperity, and pride. We're going to do it. This will be America's new golden age. 100 years from now, the presidential election of 2024 will be looked upon as America's greatest victory. I hope that's true. Because we've been through so much together, and the finish line is finally in sight. After 4 horrendous years, Kamala Harris can't say one thing that she'd do differently, right? You heard that. If you vote for me, I will end inflation. I will bring jobs back to our country. We'll flood our shores with companies and jobs. We'll seal our borders immediately. And we'll let people in. You know, we had the safest border in the history of our country. Hold it. Put up my favorite sign of all time. Put up my favorite graph. I have to use it. My favorite graph. So the red arrow in the bottom, that's the lowest number of illegal immigrants to come into this country. And by the way, we want people to come into the country, but they have to come in legally, just so we understand, right? She's going, yeah. We want them. We need them. We're going to need them because we're going to have so many companies come in just through adjustments in tariffs and taxes. They're going to come pouring into our country. And they're going to stay here because we're going to protect them with tariffs. The word tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary. More beautiful than love. More beautiful than respect. No, less beautiful than religion, though, right? I don't want to get into that argument. But the word tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary. Remember that. It's going to make our country rich. And our politicians were too stupid for so many years, or something else was going on. He goes crooked. That could be, because it's so simple to understand. But look at that. So that was the day I left office, that lower red arrow. That's the lowest point. And look what happened to our country after that. Look at that. And that was done by Border Patrol, which we love. Oh, by the way, Border Patrol gave us their total and complete endorsement. And it's hard. You know, they're not actually supposed to do it. They said, well, let them take all 29,000 of us and let's see what happens to this country. No, they're not, in theory. You know, you work for the government. They couldn't help. And They said she's horrible. They said she's horrible. It wasn't just, they said, you're the greatest president in the history of our country. Some only said the greatest in our lifetime. They had a unanimous endorsement from everybody. And they said at the same time, she's the worst we've ever had by far. And now she's running. And I tell you, I think that the border, I was just saying to Byron Donald's in the plane, right, Byron? I was just saying that, Byron. What a great guy. Look at that black hat. So, you know what? You know who the founder of that hat is? Elon Musk. He wore it. He's like the founder. And I said, you know, we sell that. I think we sell about 2 a year. Now it's the hottest hat we have. And you know, Elon came up. Elon Musk gave us his total endorsement. How good is that, right? I mean, he's the one, he landed that rocket. That rocket came in. I said, that sucker's not going to make it. I was actually on the phone talking to somebody. It was crazy. And I'm talking to this person. And I'm saying, wait a minute, something's happening. I got to just hold it. I put the phone, and it was a very important person. I'm looking at something on the screen. I'm seeing this 24-story tube come down, and it looked like it was getting, Congressman, it looked like it was getting a little bit close to the gantry or whatever the hell they call that nowadays. I said, oh, my God. And I put the phone down. Very important person, by the way. I won't tell you who. It'll be embarrassing. Because I never picked up the phone again. I was sitting there for... And because I was the president, and because I'm leading, which is probably more important to him, the guy didn't hang up. He was on the phone 45, 50 minutes waiting. I just saw, oh, the phone's off the hook. Hello? Hello? He went, but I saw this thing come down, this tube, this giant tube, and I put the phone, I said, just a second. I said, I don't believe it, because I had the sound off. I turned the sound up, and it came down, and I said, it's going to crash. Don't crash. And I thought it was, actually, at first, I thought it was like a movie or something. I never saw this before, and I've seen it a lot. And it came down, and it was going into and then all of a sudden, you see the fire pouring out of the left side. I pushed it over. It landed perfectly, and then it was grabbed by two giant claws, and they grabbed it like Willie Mays would catch a fly ball in center field, right? That's the way it was. He was pretty good, Willie. And it came down, and I called Elon. I said, Elon, is that you? He said, that was me. I said, can anyone else do that? No. Can the United States do it? No. Can Russia do it? China do it? No, nobody can do that. He said, they're 10 years behind. This guy is great. And he said, if Donald Trump doesn't win, it could be the end of democracy in our country. It could be the end of our country. And you know where he is today? He's in another part of the Commonwealth. Never, ever make the mistake of calling it a state, by the way. It could be career-ending. I had a friend that did that, a politician. He used to be a politician, but it shouldn't be that big a deal because a lot of people make that mistake. That's one I could understand somebody making, but we call it the Commonwealth. But Elon endorsed me. He's in another part of the Commonwealth, and he's campaigning now. And he's got a gold. He's got a gold cap. But he called it, I said, he was wearing the black hat in Butler, Pennsylvania. We had 101,000 people, Butler, honoring Corey, the firefighter. Butler, Pennsylvania, we had 101,000 people. It was unbelievable. What a night that was. And we were honoring Corey and two gentlemen who were very badly hurt. We thought they weren't going to make it, the doctors up there. They have good doctors. These are good doctors. I don't know if they call them country doctors, but whoever they are, they were good because these were two men that were not two great supporters who were not supposed to make it, and they made it, and they made it. They'll be okay. But Corey didn't make it, and we honored Corey. It was the most beautiful evening, right? We had a moment of silence, and then we had the bells of Notre Dame, right? Notre Dame playing. And then we had an opera singer who sounded just like Pavarotti. I mean, the guy was unbelievable, and he sang Ave Maria. And the whole place was crying. It was crazy. I'm looking at the audience. Some of my friends were there, almost as tough as the football players that we have. We have some of the great football players. Almost as tough. I don't know if you guys are... But they were tough cookies. And I see them crying. They're trying to be cool. You know, no, I wasn't crying. But the whole place was crying. It was amazing. It was 101,000 people. So we will regain our sovereignty, we will restore our safety, and we will unlock the magnificent destiny that is just within our reach. And I am asking you to be excited about the future of our country. Again, you're going to be excited. This is going to be the most exciting period ever. Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. It really is. I mean, if you put these lunatics in charge any longer, we can't take it any longer. They're laughed at by foreign leaders. They think they can't even believe it. They can't even believe it. Biden can't find his way off a platform. She's worse. I wonder if she's going to have any trouble. No, she should be probably okay in that regard. But she's worse up here. Pennsylvania, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala Harris, who shouldn't be there, she's a threat to democracy. The way they took over, they call me a threat to democracy, right? She's a threat to democracy because she shouldn't even be the candidate. They should have picked a candidate fairly, not just given her because they want to be politically correct. I mean, whether you like him or not, you know, we had the debate, and his numbers went down. He didn't have a good night, but that can happen. But, you know, that happens, and the numbers go down, and they went down, and they went into him. They said, we're not going to let you run. We're going to take it away. That's crazy. Nancy went in. Chuck Schumer went in. Some of the people went in. They took it away from him. They just took it away from him. It's bad. And that is a threat to democracy, if you think about it, right? That's a real threat to democracy. But you have to tell Kamala Harris, and by the way, I think he would have, let's see what happens, and I may be wrong, but let's see what happens. I think he might have done better than she's going to do, because all we had to do is expose her as a lunatic left, further left than Pocahontas. Do you know who Pocahontas? Elizabeth Warren. She's further left than Pocahontas. And I don't want to get into that stuff, but her mother said she was Indian because she had high cheekbones. That's what she said. And then she went out and did a test because I was driving her crazy, calling her Pocahontas. So she fell for the trap. And she did a test, and she was so happy because it came back 1,014th. Remember? 1,014th. And that was it. That means I had more Indian blood in me than she had, and I have none. I have none. I'd like to have some. I would like to have some, I'd be honored. But I have more, and I have none. But she was so happy when she got, think of that. Think of that. That was what happened. That was the end of her career. You know, that was the end of her presidential run. She was leading for the president. And when she said, and you got to understand, just these are the people we're dealing with. She took that Indian heritage, and based on the fact, and this is her statement, this is not me. There's no racist anything in me, not a drop. But this is not me. Her mother told her this, that she had high cheekbones, and therefore she was part Indian. And based on that, she applied to colleges. She applied for jobs. She applied for the U.S. Senate. And everyone's forgotten that crap right now, but I never forget it. But she went out, and she had the test, and the test was ridiculous at basically. And then I said that I have more than she does. And I would love to, I will tell you, but she's bad news. But she's radical left crazy. She drives people. What she does to business people is horrible. She's a horrible person, but she's radical left. And Crazy Bernie is radical left. And this one, Kamala, is further left than them. So you have to tell Kamala Harris that you've had enough, that you just can't take it anymore. We can't stand you. You're a shit vice president. The worst. You're the worst vice president. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. You're fired. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here, Kamala. There you go. Early voting in Pennsylvania is now underway. Go and vote. Just go and vote. Get out there, and if you've not registered to vote, you only have 2 days left. You have to get out there and register immediately. Does everybody promise they're going to register? Okay. Boy, look at the crowd. Wow. Wow. Hello, everybody. How did the flyover look? Good? Cool. You know, it feels like you're very close to the ground. I said, are we okay here? You know, when you're, it looks like okay from here, but let me tell you, when you're in that plane, that sucker feels low. I'm saying, I hope everything's working nicely on that plane. With your help, 17 days from now, we are going to win Pennsylvania. We're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we are going to make America great again, right? Right? And I'm in big trouble tonight. You know why? Franklin Graham wrote me. You heard this. Like 2 months ago, he said, President, we love your stories. We love your speaking. We love everything about you. You're a great Christian. We love everything about you. But, sir, please, please don't use any bad language, bad words. He said, your stories will even be better. And I wrote it back. I said, I'm going to try and do that. But actually, the stories won't be as good. Because you can't put the same emphasis on. So tonight I broke my rule. I've done it for weeks, but tonight I just said, look, I'm in Pennsylvania. What the hell? What the hell? I went to school here. I went to school. I went to the great Wharton School of Finance here. What a great school that was, too. What a great school. So if we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole damn thing, right? And starting on day one of my new administration, I will end Kamala Harris's war on Pennsylvania energy, because you know she's going to ban, fracking, right? 100%. You know, she was against fracking, against all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, about a year and a half ago, when she was getting killed in the polls, she said, I like fracking very much. Look, they always go back to what they want. They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical left Marxist. She can't help it. But we're going to end that, and we will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to be drilling so deep. We're going to be, for these guys, we're going to drill. We're going to take out so much money. We're going to pay down our debt. We're going to lower your taxes. You know, I gave you the largest tax cut in the history of our country. And the biggest regulation cuts in the history of our country. And we had the best economy in the history of our country. And we had the best border in the history of our country. Other than that, what the hell? I did other things, too. I rebuilt the military. And unfortunately, they gave a lot of it away to the Taliban. These geniuses, these stupid people like Milley, General Milley. Remember his performance in Congress? General Milley and Mattis, all these guys, what a bunch of lightweights. But we have great generals, but they're the ones you don't see on television. They're the ones that actually have to fight. Like, we defeated 100% of the ISIS caliphate with great generals, and we have a great military, but not the ones you see on television. Not the movie actors that you see. Kamala has said repeatedly she wants to ban fracking, which would kill over 500,000 jobs in Pennsylvania alone. Watch this.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. I am committed to passing a Green New Deal and finally putting an end to fracking once and for all. If they fail to act as President of the United States, I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. I am offering a Green New Deal that has been described as one of the most aggressive and progressive.
Well, he's going to bring the Green New Deal up for a vote.
Yeah, I will vote for it. It is a resolution. I believe that the underlying principles behind it are sound and important.
What is the solution for voters who have jobs and interests
in the fossil fuel industry.
Giving the workers an ability to transition into the jobs of the future.
Can we afford it?
Of course we can afford it. It's not about a cost.
So when she does that, that's the end of Pennsylvania as we know it. It's the most important, not only from the standpoint of $500,000 jobs, it's 500,000 jobs, but in terms of income for the state, you would have to double and triple your taxes to make up. And she's going to do it. She's going to do it. She's going to do it. And you know the other thing, the taxes, you know what an unrealized capital gain is? Okay? It's called, I'll tell you what it is, communism is what it is. So she wants to have a tax, so capital gains tax is terrible. It's rough, but you know, you sell something, you can pay the tax. She wants an unrealized capital gain every year so that if something goes up in value, now you have to go out, it'll be a great business for appraisers and for lawyers and for accountants. Other than that, it's a disaster. She wants an unrealized, and she refuses to say that, no, we're not going to do that. No, she refuses. Think of it. It's an unrealized gain. So she wants to tax an unrealized gain. This woman is crazy. I will terminate the Green New scam immediately. It's the greatest scam in history. I will stop the energy price hikes. I will rescind the natural gas export ban, which is killing your state, by the way. And we will have energy independence. You know, we were energy independent 4 years ago. Think of it. Energy independent. We're still going to be energy dominant. And I will cut your energy and electricity prices in half within 12 months of taking office. 50%. We have it. It's under our feet. We don't have to get it from Venezuela. We get it from Venezuela. It's not even believable. The whole thing's not believable. For most of American history, Pennsylvania was the commercial and industrial powerhouse of the United States. But year after year, globalist, radical left politicians and incompetents like Kamala Harris have waged a war on your Commonwealth. They've annihilated your steel mills, decimated your coal jobs, assaulted your oil and gas jobs, and sold off your manufacturing jobs to China and foreign nations all over the world. Under the Trump administration, we are going to take back what is ours. We will end the looting and pillaging of Pennsylvania and many other states all over our country. We will bring back our manufacturing jobs, our energy jobs, our coal jobs, our steel jobs, and our dreams. And it's all very simple. Starting in January, we will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burdens, and free access to the best and biggest market anywhere on the planet, but only if they make their products right here in America. If they don't, they have to pay a higher tax. And only if they hire American workers for the job, and they will. They'll all be coming. They'll be pouring in. If these companies don't make their product here, then they will pay a tariff when they send their products into the United States for the privilege of competing with our workers and our cherished companies. We're going to protect our workers and our companies. It's all very simple. We don't do any of this now. I was going to do it, and then COVID came, and I said, we got to fight that one. We did a great job with that. We got a great, you know, I got great credit for the economy, for the military. We were in no wars. Think of it. I started no wars. Everybody thought I'd be like in a war. I'll be in a war in 2 days. No, it didn't work out. My personality stopped wars. Stopped wars. It stopped wars in countries that we weren't even involved. I was able to stop wars with other countries that we weren't even that involved with just by making a couple of phone calls. I saved a lot of lives. We will call this policy the Build It in America plan, because when foreign leaders and CEOs call me up to complain about our tariffs, my answer will be very simple to them. Build it in America, build it in Pennsylvania. We're going to build a lot. We're going to have all those hulks that you have all over the place, the big empty hulks that we have all over our country. They're going to be loaded up with companies. They'll probably be, honestly, they'll be ripped down, and you'll see modern buildings built, modern manufacturing built. The centerpiece of this plan will be a 15% made in America corporate tax rate, cutting the tax from 21% to 15%, but again, only for those who make their product in the USA. And remember, I got it down to 21. Everyone said it would be impossible to get approved by Congress. I got it approved by Congress, but I got it down to 21. It was close to 40%. I got it down to 21%. Nobody thought that was possible. Now, I'm taking it from 21% down to 15%. The companies are going to roar in because 21% is very competitive. 15% is really, it's amazing. I mean, companies are going to want to be here, but they have to be protected from other companies coming in from the outside and raiding the jobs, the products, and that's what we're doing with the tariffs. And for those companies who don't make their product in America, they will be forced to pay a very stiff tariff, and we will make it and take it. Hundreds of billions of dollars are going to come in through tariff dollars to benefit American citizens, and we're going to pay off debt and reduce your taxes still further. Again, I gave you the biggest tax cut in history. We'll be able to do it still further. And remember this, for decades, nobody paid, China never paid 1 penny, not 1 penny to us until I came along. They paid hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs and taxes under me, under Bush, under Obama. They never paid. They never paid anything, nothing, not a dime. Hundreds of billions of dollars they paid. And that's just the beginning. We're a rich country, but we don't know how to be rich. We just don't know how to be, but we're going to be rich, and we're going to be richer than ever before. We're going to take care of ourselves. It's going to be America first. It's also going to be, we'll help the world. We want to help the world. But it's time that we take care of ourselves. We owe $36 trillion. We're going to take care of ourselves first. And I will never apologize for defending America. I will protect our workers. I will protect our jobs. I will protect our borders. I will protect our families. And I will protect the birthright of our children to live in the richest and most powerful nation on the face of the earth. And I will also protect our steel industry. If you remember, if you guys remember, we were going to lose our steel. We had the worst policy on steel. China was coming in and others dumping steel onto our shores. And we would have had no steel industry left. And I put a tariff, a big tariff on all steel coming in. It was not good steel either. It was what we call dirty steel. It's bad steel, bad structurally, very dangerous actually. But they were dumping steel into our country, destroying our steel mills. And I put a big tariff and it all stopped when I did that. It all stopped. And we took in hundreds of billions of dollars, and it all stopped. And, you know, we slashed foreign steel all these exports that were pouring in, they stopped to the level of about 25%. Nobody could believe it, and I hadn't even started yet. We were just getting ready. We were going to make this country richer than it had ever been before. You know, in the 1890s and 1880s, our country was actually the richest it ever was. They had to form committees to determine how are we going to spend this vast wealth. We had so much wealth, relatively speaking, so much wealth, more than anybody by far. And they formed up blue ribbon committees. How are we going to spend the money? We don't know how to spend it. Wouldn't that be a nice problem to have? And it was all a tariff country. We were a tariff country. And McKinley was president. William McKinley was actually a great president, was assassinated, by the way. He was assassinated. You know, being president is a very dangerous profession. If you're an auto racer, you know how many people die? About 1/10%. If you're a bull rider, that's dangerous. That's more dangerous than playing in the NFL, right, fellas? What do you think? I think it's a little more, I don't know, it's pretty dangerous. We got a couple of big deals over here and there. But I think that bull riding stuff, that looks bad. 1/10%, about the same as the auto racing. If you're president, take a look. It's about 5%, 6%. That's a lot better. But it's only good if you want to do one thing. You want to make your country strong and wonderful and great, and that's what I'm doing. But it is a dangerous profession, and we can't let it be a dangerous profession. We have to have better everything. We have to have better respect from countries that look at us, because we have to let them know. I'm still waiting for Biden to say, if you do anything to this guy that I hate Trump, but if you do anything to him, we're going to blow your country to pieces, and then you wouldn't need all this glass up here. You wouldn't need all the glass. And other presidents have said that. And even if it's your opponent, and even if it's somebody that helped them force you out of an election, which I didn't want to do, but you got to do that regardless, opponent or no opponent. You got to let a country know that you're going to play around, we're going to blow you to pieces, and then everything will stop. It'll be amazing. But today I'm honored to receive the endorsement of 3 union locals representing U.S. Steel, Mon Valley. And if they want, I'd like to call them up to the stage, including union leaders Brian Pavlak and Richard TK and Jason Zugais. Would you come on up here, fellas? These are good-looking people. Good-looking guy, yeah.
How about executive order?
Oh, yeah.
No more.
You guys can say something. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's great. Do you agree with what I said?
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. Good looking guys, huh?
It's an honor.
You like the Arnold Palmer story, I bet.
I love it.
Isn't it true?
Yeah.
Thank you.
President Trump, pleasure to meet you. Glenn Thomas, I work down in Bradley.
Yes, you did. That's why we're here, buddy.
Hey, we got back up.
Would somebody like to say something?
Yeah.
Please, go ahead.
Brian started our movement, President Trump.
Good.
It's an honor to be on stage with you. All the steel workers here, honor to be on stage with you. I was up to Butler Rally when they tried to assassinate you. And I knew after that I had to do what I had to do. So the president that saved the steel industry with tariffs, you saved it with tariffs.
Thank you.
And you're my hero, and you're the greatest president ever.
We love you.
We love you. So, steel workers for Trump and the rank and file Mon Valley Works want to endorse you. We want to give you a hard hat. And also another hat too. Well, thank you, President Trump.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
It's such an honor.
It's my honor. Thank you very much. Don't make a lot of
We want that no
tax
on overtime.
Yeah.
We want that no
Yeah. No tax on overtime.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
You know the steel workers work a lot of overtime.
You never even heard about that, right?
No,
tax on
no.
No child support on overtime.
That's another one.
You take care of good.
I want you to put the hard hat on.
No child support on overtime.
Could we get a picture with you?
Yeah, let's go. Come on. Let's do it real fast, fellas.
They want you to put the hard hat on. Put the hard hat on.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Beautiful.
Thank you, fellas. Let's take a picture. Come on. We'll go fast. Let's go. Got it? They've got it outside. Okay, he's got it right there. Let's go. We got to get back. Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
Good job. Good
Hey,
job.
I'll see you backstage.
Good.
That's so awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a lot of That's a lot of strength up here, a lot of great people, actually. I'm also, thank you very much. Have a good time, fellas. Thank you.
Save our
Thank
steel
you very much. Thank you very much. They said you did stay. We really did. We saved the steel industry in this country. Now we're going to make it really powerful again, along with autos. Great guys, great people. Those are great people. I'm also, and that have been beaten up for a lot of years unfairly because we had stupid politicians or corrupt politicians. I'm not sure which. I'm also honored to have the overwhelming endorsement of the rank and file membership of the Teamsters. That never happened before. Never happened before. Never happened before. And also we have something else, the law enforcement. Virtually every group in the United States from law enforcement, every single group, the sheriffs, the police, the fraternal order, 400,000 police, they all endorse me. So thank you very much. Thank you. I don't think she has one. She's a disaster. She wanted to defund. She was involved in defund the police. I think when you defund the police, that's the end of that. With 4 more years of Kamala Harris, Pennsylvania will be an economic wasteland. That's going to happen. And I'll tell you, with me, you're going to make more money than they've ever made before. You're going to have the best salaries, the lowest taxes. You're going to be doing better than you ever did. And we're going to put this into motion fast. You can do it very fast. Very simple, too. Kamala's inflation has already cost the typical family over $30,000 in higher prices, and now she wants to raise typical family taxes by nearly $3,000 a year. Just take a look at this video, please.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up.
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. Now she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up.
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message. You know, they said to me up here, we like the overtime the best. I said, yeah, you probably. You like the overtime, right, fellas? That's right. I figured you had something. That's right. You're not worried about the tips. You like that overtime, right? But a lot of people like the tips. And if you're a senior, you know what you like. You want the Social Security, no tax on Social Security. Think of it. No tax. No tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. And they deserve it because, you know what? Inflation, with their fixed income, mostly fixed income, inflation has absolutely destroyed our seniors and other people that are on fixed income. So I will also make interest on car loans fully tax deductible. That's a big deal. You know, they said one of the top guys on Wall Street called up and he said, you know, we have an incredible situation here. Where did you come up with that? It's like the paperclip. I said it the other day. Like 125 years ago, some guy took some steel and he bent it around a little bit. He came up with a paperclip, and other people looked at it. He made a lot of money, very rich man. And they said, why the hell didn't we think of it? You know, the one having to do with the deductibility of car loans. So simple. And the top guys on Wall Street, real geniuses, they called up, they said, how did you think of that? It's so simple. But, you know, to have the American dream, you want to have a car. And this will make, and I think this is going to be fantastic for Detroit and South Carolina and Tennessee and all of the areas that that produce cars. One thing I have to say also, we have in Mexico, and I've been talking about it for the last year and a half, China is getting ready to build massive car plants, massive, which would wipe out Michigan, would hurt you, but would wipe out Michigan. Detroit would be gone. And they're the biggest plants in the world. I have a friend that does that. He builds plants. He doesn't do anything else. All he wants to do is build plants. And I called him up a year ago, a little more than that. I said, I want to see a plant. I want to go see a plant. You think Biden calls people up and says, I'd like to see a plant? I don't think so. He wants to just go. He wants to go to sleep. And she wants to do other things. We don't know what they are. We'll find out, unfortunately. No, but I said, I want to see a plant. He said, well, I can't really take you to the U.S. because we're not building the good ones. But the big ones are being built in Mexico. I said, what do you mean Mexico? They're being built by China. And they're the biggest in the world, actually. And one plant will be doing more than all of Michigan. So I said, this is not good. And then they think they're going to take the cars, build them, and sell them over to the United States or go around a little horn and sell them to the United States and destroy our automobile. And it would destroy. So I said, I've had it. And I started talking about tariffs. We're going to put massive tariffs on these companies that are coming in and destroying our jobs and our companies. And so I went very public with it for the last 4 months about tariffs. I love tariffs. I love tariffs, what they can do for your income and protection, and even third-party things you can do just by the threat of tariffs, because we're the pot of gold. We won't be the pot of gold long if we don't do something. So I was making a speech the other day in Detroit at the Economic Club, which is a great place, beautiful, and talking about cars. And I saw the man that is the great car factory builder who I know, John. I won't give it his full name, but John. And I saw him, and I said, could I see you after the speech? I made the speech. I went to see him. I said, how are those plants coming, the big ones in China? They said, sir, they just canceled them because they think you're going to get elected, and they don't want to build them because they won't be able to pay tariffs. We just canceled them. I didn't even do anything. And I just saved Detroit. I just saved every car-making state. No, but think of it. I thought to myself, just the threat of tariffs, they canceled these multi-billion-dollar auto factories. Auto machines is what they really are. Now, will I get credit for that? I don't think so, but we know. But he just said, because of you, they think you're going to get elected. They think you're going to charge tariffs that are so much that it won't be possible for them to survive. And China just canceled those big, beautiful factories that would have destroyed our country in terms of automaking. And, you know, I think it's great. And now people are starting to see it. They're saying that was a pretty good thing to do. I didn't even do anything. Just the mere threat of that beautiful word kept what we have. Don't forget, a lot of it's been taken over 50, 60 years. We were the greatest powerhouse. We will have that back soon. I think we can compete with it. We will have that back soon. We're going to have so many auto plants and so many steel plants built in this country now. So simple, too. It's so simple. And you know, I've been talking about this for the last couple of months, and people are starting to understand it. They're starting to understand it. And you know, China does it. They've been doing it for a long time. They say, we don't want your cars. If you want to build a car, you build it in our country. They did it with Harley Davidson in India. They charge a 200% tariff on a motorcycle. They said, if you want to do this, you have to build it. We don't want your motorcycles. We're going to charge you 200. Harley Davidson said, we don't sell any in India. Tariff's too high. I said, what are you going to do? They said, we've got to build a plant over there, sir. We're the only one that doesn't do it because we're ruled by corrupt and stupid politicians, but we're doing it now. As we build our economy, we'll also restore our borders. For 4 straight years, Kamala has imported an army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from prisons and jails they come, from insane asylums and mental institutions. And all around the world, they come from Venezuela to the Congo. They come from the Congo now. A lot of them are coming out of the jails of the Congo. And she's resettled them into our communities to prey upon our innocent American citizens. No, we're not going to do that. When I win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. We're not going to have it. Thank you. And every day, Kamala is using migrant flights and her phone app. Do you believe they have a phone app? For the criminal cartels to call up, hello, this is Jose Rodriguez. I'd like to know, where do I dispose of my illegal migrants, and they tell you where to drop them. Can you believe it? The only thing worse are the flights. They have planes flying over our border, big, beautiful Boeing 727s, 737s, and just like that beautiful plane over there, is it a pretty plane? 757s, 767s. They have planes flying back and forth, loaded up with migrants, only going one way, by the way, to flood Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin. That's what they're doing in the entire Midwest with thousands and thousands of illegal migrants, and many of these are very dangerous people. They'll look at you, they'll cut you up, and they won't even think about it. As just one example, the 4,000-person town of Charleroi, Pennsylvania, has seen, listen to this, a 2,000% increase in the population of illegal migrants. Think of that, 2,000% increase in the population of illegal migrants under Harris. She doesn't want to be called border czar. But you know what? I don't care. She was in charge of the border. This mentally deficient president put her in charge of the border. And she never went there, not once. And she never, when the Border Patrol last week endorsed me so strongly, I asked them, how often did you speak to her? You were dealing with her. They said, sir, we never spoke to her once. I said, who did she speak to? There were like 40 guys on the stage, all the leaders of the Border Patrol. She said, not one of them did she speak to, not one. Pennsylvania is not going to take it anymore. One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has imported into our country is the savage Venezuelan prison gang, Tren de Aragua. Has anyone heard of it? You've heard of MS-13? These are right in the same category. You don't get any meaner or tougher. But they're taking over apartment complexes, like I do. I'm in the real estate business also, isn't it? They do it differently. They do it with guns. I do it with financing. And unleashing a violent terrorist spree all across America. This is happening all over. Let's watch.
Open borders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis. Record high crossings are putting a strain on cities across America.
It is a full-blown invasion.
Armed Venezuelan gang members storming an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado.
When people talk about MAGA crime, this is what they're talking about. Biden and Harris had created a program to bring them in under humanitarian parole.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE. Yeah, we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang members had been terrorizing the apartment complex.
New details in the murder of Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national.
And was paroled and released into the country by the Biden administration.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder and the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
Court documents suggest a group of men arrested for beating and robbing a Dallas woman last month are members of a Venezuelan street gang.
Manuel Hernandez was booked by Colleyville police just 2 days earlier and released the day before the robbery.
And it's that way all over America. And I say it's a much bigger, you know, the polls are saying that the biggest problem is inflation and the economy. I say that's a bigger problem. I'd move inflation and the economy to number 2. That is a bigger problem because that's destroying the fabric of our country. The United States is now an occupied country. But November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. It's going to be Liberation Day. Under Kamala Harris, 13,099 illegal alien convicted murderers are on the loose right now in the United States of America. Can you believe it? Just this week, 2 illegal alien members of the same savage Venezuelan gang were arrested in New York for robbing, shooting, and murdering a 59-year-old man in a Connecticut hotel. One of these illegal alien monsters was a gotaway. Do you know what that is? These are the illegal gotaways. And the other was caught but then released into our country by Kamala Harris and her horrible, horrible free open borders. Immediately upon taking the oath of office, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. We have no choice. I don't want to do it. The record right now is Dwight Eisenhower, a moderate president that couldn't stand, he just couldn't stand what was happening with the border. Many years ago, Dwight Eisenhower, General Eisenhower, he's a good president, but he was a moderate person, but he has every record. He just couldn't stand watching the borders be crossed by people that weren't citizens of our country. I will rescue every town across America that has been invaded and conquered, and we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in a jail or kick them out of our country immediately. They will get sent back to where they came from. We have no choice. And to expedite removals of Tren de Aragua and other savage gangs, I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Can you believe that? We couldn't have an act like that now because now everything's woke, you know? We have woke generals like Milley and Mattis. We have woke people. They don't do things like this. So we had to go back to 1798 when we had real people running our country. The Alien Enemies Act of 70 gives a tremendous power to the president to do what's right, to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. So when they come back, if they come back, when they hear that, they won't come back. And if that's not good enough, we'll make it 20. And I'm also calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer. Right? Kamala's invasion is also bankrupting Medicare and Social Security. She wants to give millions of illegals the benefits you worked for your entire lives. And by the way, by talking about education, Social Security, all of the different benefits, that's why people are pouring up into our country. If you say you're not going to get it, they won't come. They're coming because we say, come on up, like that idiot governor from California, Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom. Did you see the other day he signed a bill that you are not even allowed to ask a person whether or not they have voter ID? If you ask them, it's a criminal penalty. If you say, sir, I'd like to see your voter ID, they want to put you in jail for saying that. We're not going to stand. I'm going to get that thing overturned so fast. He just signed the bill. Because we want, ultimately, one-day voting. We want paper ballots. We want voter ID, and we want proof of citizenship. And we're finished. And we'll have quick, fair elections that will cost 8% of the cost of these very beautiful, fancy machines that go up to Mars and around and down and all over the place. You ever see this? Where the machines, we spend all this money on machines, and then they announce, we expect to have the results like 7 days after the election. If you had paper ballots, you get them at 10 o'clock. France went to paper because what we did didn't work. The mail-in ballots didn't work. France had them, and you know what? Didn't work. There was a lot of theft, a lot of things going on. They went to paper ballots, same-day voting, 38 million votes. Everything was done by 10 o'clock in the evening. No people complaining, nothing. I will protect for a fraction, by the way, for a fraction of the cost. I will protect our seniors and ensure that federal benefits are for Americans only I just want them to be only for Americans. Kamala is telling you, if you vote for her, it's 4 more years of the same. Take a look.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A 5th illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret. Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition.
US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
The cost of homes have spiked. Home buyers need to earn 80% more than they did in 2020 to afford a house.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes.
That's it. All right. You do nothing different than the worst administration in the history of our country. The happiest person in life. He just turned over 100 years old now. He's over 100. He turned a few weeks ago. Jimmy Carter. He's the happiest man around. You know why? Because he looks brilliant compared to this administration. The Carter administration is brilliant compared to these people. He didn't destroy our country at the border. Pennsylvania, if you want to end this disaster, you must get out and vote. You have to go and vote. Get everybody you can. And ladies and gentlemen, we can start really well. There's a man, I'm going to call him up real quickly. His name is David McCormick. He is a great man. Been successful at everything. He's smart. He's tough. Everything he did turned out to be great, and I think this is going to be just a start. Vote for him for the Senate. Your particular senator right now is a total stiff. Thank you. Who says he's my best friend? He just announced he's for me with tariffs. I don't know the gentleman. This is the guy that's going to do it. David McCormick.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Well, Mr. President, it all comes down to Pennsylvania. It all comes down to the Keystone State. We've got to put you back in the White House so we can have strength and common sense policies and fight back on this crazy liberal agenda, the weakness of Kamala Harris that is taking us over the cliff. So we're with you, Mr. President, 100%. We're going to fight for you, but we also got to get a majority in the Senate so we can put those common sense policies in place, and that's why we got to retire Bob Casey, 30-year career politician. He's weak, and he's voted 100% with the crazy liberal agenda of Biden-Harris. We got to send Bob Casey home. And, Mr. President, first time today, I just heard this an hour or two ago, good news, first public poll that says McCormick's in the lead over Casey. We're going to win this, but we need to fight, fight, fight for the next 17 days, no sleep, take our country back. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, David. David's a good man, and he's going to really represent you, and he's going to work with us on getting your taxes down, etc. We're also joined by Representatives John Joyce, great guy. Where's John? Hello, John. Dan Muser, who's fantastic, my friend, all my friends. And Byron Donalds of Florida. And also, I tell you, if you're a football fan, these guys are good. I guess they're going to the game a little bit later or something. You going to the game? Are you going, or are you going to watch it on television? Former NFL stars, Antonio Brown. Oh, he was a good player. He was a good player. And Le'Veon Bell, really good players. And Mike Wallace. Come on up, fellas. Come on up.
Let's vote for Trump, baby. Make some noise for the president.
I love you, man. I love you. Everything good?
Everything's good. How you been?
These guys could play.
Love you, man.
You want to say anything? Go ahead.
Let's go, Trump. You already know. Vote Trump. Let's go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go, Steelers.
Go have a good time. Thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow at the game.
Good.
Thank you so much. I'll be going with you at the game.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. They look good. We're also deeply honored to be joined by Gold Star family members of the service members, several of them who gave their lives in Afghanistan. So horrible. So horrible that this had to happen. They're friends of mine. Many of the families are friends of mine. I've gotten to know them over this, and it's just horrible. Should have never happened, would have never happened. Corporal Hunter Lopez and his family is here. We're honoring these people. Corporal Humberto Sanchez. Staff Sergeant Taylor Hoover. Sergeant Nicole G. And Corporal Kareem Nikui. Thank you very much. Great people. I got to know them very well. Should have never, ever happened. 13 people, many so badly injured. We have to talk about them. I talk about them all the time with the legs and the arms and just obliteration. So I want to thank you all very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I also want to thank Elon Musk because when I called him on North Carolina and Georgia, as you know, they had almost no, especially in North Carolina, they had no communication. The lines were all down a few weeks ago with the hurricane, Helene. And I called Elon. They said, "Do you know Elon Musk?" I said, "I happen to know him. What do you want?" "We need Starlink." I said, "What is Starlink? Tell me, please. Give me a lesson. Tell me." And they told me it's basically great communication and up to a satellite and back. And they said, "We just have to have it. We can't get it because it's very hard to get." And I called Elon, and he had it there in literally in moments. It was amazing how fast he got it there for them. So I want to thank Elon for doing that. That was great. People of North Carolina. So we're working very hard for Pennsylvania, but in breaking news, it was just announced that the highly respected Florida judge who is overseeing our case against the Pulitzer Prize Board for awarding their once highly respected prizes to the failing New York Times and the Washington Post. These are really fake news papers. Call them fake news papers. But they're fake news, Russia stories. They got the Pulitzer Prize for Russia. It turned out to be a fake story. So I figured, what the hell, on your behalf, I'd sue their ass off. And he's ordered Discovery to move full speed ahead. He wants it to go. That means that we will be able to learn the full scale of their lies, deceit, and wrongdoing, and we'll hold these radical lunatics accountable for the lying that they've done to the American people. What they've done is incredible. Think of it. They got the Pulitzer Prize for their great reporting on Russia, and then it turned out to be a hoax, and now everybody knows it. So I want them to return those Pulitzer Prizes, and I think lots of damages should be awarded to a lot of different people. So here are the facts. Kamala Harris is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than Bernie. She destroyed our economy. She was an original creator of defund the police. And anybody who wants to defund it cannot be president of the United States. We cherish our police. And we're going to give them back their respect and their dignity and let them do the job. And crime will fall. Kamala Harris vowed to abolish ICE. These are tough people. I know a lot of tough people right in this first few rows. They're not tough like these guys. As California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as totally nonviolent crimes. She pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens and detention at taxpayers' expense. She lied about working at McDonald's, a simple thing. You know, I think very soon, maybe tomorrow or something, I'm going to McDonald's to work the French fry. I think so. I think I'm doing it tomorrow. And I think it's in a place in Pennsylvania, and I'm going to stand over that French fry. You know, she lied about her. You know, it's a very basic thing to say. They'll say, oh, look at all that press. That's a lot of press. But they're going to say, oh, it's so basic. It is basic. But the basic is easier to understand. She said, as part of a resume, for years, I worked at McDonald's, you know. It's probably tough. But she never worked there. It turned out to be a hoax. So on top of all of this, Kamala turned on our military and wants to make them woke. Take a look at our real military. Just take a look at it.
You little scumbag! I got your name! I got your ass! You will not laugh! You will not cry! You will learn by the numbers!
Happy Pride. Happy Pride Month, and actually, let's declare it a summer of pride.
So you're a killer? Sir, yes, sir! Let me see your war face! Sir, you got a war face? Ah! That's a war face! Now let me see your war face! Ah! Bullshit! You didn't convince me! Let me see your real war face! Ah! I hear it and I know. I know you wanna take. You will be a weapon. You will be a minister of death, praying for war. But until that day, you are puke. You are the lowest form of life on earth. You are not even human fucking beings. You are nothing but unorganized, grabastic pieces of amphibian shit.
How to abracadabra, these bitches know I got answers the way I...
It looks to me like the best part of you ran down the crack of your mama's ass and ended up as the brown stain on the mattress. I love working for Uncle Sam. I love working for Uncle Sam. Let me know just who I am. Let me know just who I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, United States Marine Corps. 1, 2, 3, 4, United States Marine Corps.
That wasn't exactly woke. So in conclusion, and thank you for being here, everybody. This is beautiful. We'll get you out real fast. We're going to get you go watch that game tonight, right? We really do appreciate this kind of crowd and love. The love that we've had is incredible. But with your vote this November, we are going to fire Kamala Harris. We are going to save America. We're going to rebuild our nation for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. With your support, we will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. We will cut your taxes, demolish inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and turn the United States into the manufacturing superpower of the world. We will hire American, buy American, build American, and show the whole world that the American dream is back, bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. I will end the war in Ukraine, stop the chaos in the Middle East, and prevent World War III, and I'm the one that can do it. I'm the only one that's going to do it. I will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, and resources, and we have to give them respect again. We're going to give them respect like they've never had, and they're going to get rid of crime, and they'll get rid of it quickly and efficiently. We cannot live with the kind of crime that we're living with in our country today. We will strengthen and modernize our military. I rebuilt our military, and now we're going to modernize it still further. We will build a missile defense shield all made in the USA, including the Commonwealth, is going to build a lot of it. We're entitled to it. We're entitled to it. Others have it. We want it too. And we will land an American astronaut on Mars. Get ready, Elon. Get ready. We got to land, and we got to do it quickly. But a lot of that has to do with military, the space. You know, I created Space Force, and it's going to go down, in my opinion, it's just about the most important with time, of the forces. We were way behind Russia and China, and now we're leading them by a lot. It's a great thing. Space Force, first time in 82 years since Air Force that this happened. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we will immediately keep men out of women's sports. I will defend religious liberty. I will restore free speech. And I will defend the right to keep and bear arms, our Second Amendment. And we will end sanctuary cities and stop illegal immigration once and for all. We want people to come into our country, but they have to come in legally. After years of building up foreign countries, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we will finally be going to build our country, defend our borders, and protect our American cities, suburbs, and towns. We will protect them like they have never been protected before. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be conquered. That's what they're doing. This is an invasion into our country of a foreign military. We will be free and proud as a nation again. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda once and for all. It will happen. It will happen. We want a landslide that's too big to rig. So early voting is underway. Get everyone you know and vote. After all, we have been through together. We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. These will be 4 of the greatest years in the history of our country, and it's going to happen quickly. With your help from now until Election Day, we will redeem America's promise, and we will take back the nation that we love. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in. We will never back down, ever, ever, ever. And we will never, ever surrender. Together we will fight, fight, fight. We will vote, vote, vote. And we will win, win, win like we have never won before. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Thank you. God bless you all. God bless you.